Hare Krishna, all devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances and Dandavat Pranam. I invite you to the early morning short Bhagavatam class organized by Radha Govinda Temple of ISKCON, Kulai, Mangaluru. And I indeed invite you for and on behalf of His Grace, Sri Ramanista Das Prabhuji. As usual, we
Hare
shall
Krishna
begin with
Prabhuji.
our
Pranam.
prayers. Hare Krishna Mataji. Shall begin with our prayers. You also would say your prayers, keeping the mute button on. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुर्वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे प्लीज फॉलो मी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमम्
Narayanam Namaskritya Narottam
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये
Devim Saraswati
सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्
शृणुतां स्वकथः कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः
Srivatam Swakata
पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः
कथयन्तः सूयभद्राणि विदुनोति सुरस्तथा
हृदयन्ति सोह अभद्राणि विदोनति सुहोत्ससाम्
दष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया
दशप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवयाम्
भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी
भगवती
उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी
Srimad Bhagavatam, daily recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam certainly produces very auspicious surrounding and removes all inauspicious things from our lives and leads us to worshipping Lord Krishna, and he helps us achieve the Buddhistic bhakti. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Prescribed Duties for Mankind. Chapter 15, the saints, Narada and Agira instructs King Chitraketu. Verse number 6. These are the series of instructions going on, and today we are on the 5th instruction from Narada and Agira Muni. Those who want to recite the verse can raise their hands. भूतैर्भूतानि भूतेशः सुजत्यवति हन्ति च आत्मसृष्टैरस्वतर्निर्तरनपेक्षो अपि बालवत्. चित्रा मोहिनी देवीदासी जी. हरे कृष्ण माता जी.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. प्रणाम प्रभु जी. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. भूतैर्भूतानि भूतेशः सृजत्यवति हन्ति च आत्मसृष्टैरस्वतन्त्रैरनपोक्षो अपि बालवत्. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. थैंक यू प्रभु जी.
Thank you, Mataji. Usha Dayavati Devidasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. प्रणाम प्रभु जी. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. भूते भूतानि भूतेश सृजति अवन्ति हन्ति ताम् आत्मसृष्टै अस्वतन्त्रैर् अनपेक्षो अपि बालवात्. थैंक यू प्रभु जी. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
Thank you, Mataji. Pranandini Madhavi Devidasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. प्रणाम प्रभु जी. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. भूतैर्भूतानि भूतेशः सृजत्यवति हन्ति च आत्मसृष्टेरस्वतन्त्रैर् अनपेक्ष्य अपि बालवत्. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. थैंक यू प्रभु जी.
Thank you, Mataji. Uma Kulkarni Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
Please go ahead,
ओम
Mataji.
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. भूतेर्भूतानि भूतेश सृजति अवति हन्ति च आत्मसृष्टेरस्वतन्त्रैर् अनपेक्षो अपि बालवत्. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
Thank you, Mataji. Uma Kulkarni Mataji. Can you read synonyms for us?
Yes, प्रभु जी. Sure. Bhutehi, by some living beings. Bhutani, other living entities. Bhutasthita, the supreme personality of Godhead, the master of everything. Sujati, creates. Avati, maintains. Hanti, kills. Cha, also. Atmasuste, who are created by him. Ashvantatre, not independent. Anapeksha, not interested in creation. Api, although. Bhalavat, like a boy. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Revati Ratnangi Mataji, you want to recite the verse? Go ahead.
Prabhuji, yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Sorry for the delay, Prabhuji.
No problem.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam, Prabhuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhutai Bhutani Bhuteshaha Srijyavati Hanti च आत्मा सृष्टारवस्वंत्रयी रनेपेक्षा अभिबालवत. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
Thank you, Madaji. Translation. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master and proprietor of everything, is certainly not interested in the temporary cosmic manifestation. Nonetheless, just as a boy at the beach creates something in which he is not interested, the Lord keeps everything under his control, causes creation, maintenance, and annihilation. He creates by engaging a father to beget a son. He maintains by engaging a government or king to see to the public affairs, and he annihilates through agents of killing, such as snakes, etc. The agents for creation, maintenance, and annihilation have no independent potency. But because of the spell of the illusory energy, one thinks himself sorry. One thinks himself the creator, maintainer, and annihilator. Purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Just hang on for a while. No one can independently create, maintain, or annihilate. Bhagavad Gita 3.27 therefore says, Prakruteha kriyamanani guna karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. The bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by nature. Prakriti, material nature, as directed by the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, induces all living entities to create, maintain, or annihilate according to the modes of nature. But the living entity, without knowledge of the Supreme Person and his agent, the material energy, thinks that he is the doer. In fact, he is not at all the doer. As an agent of the Supreme Doer, the Supreme Lord, one should abide by the Lord's order. The present chaotic condition of the world are due to the ignorance of the leaders who forget that they have been appointed to act by the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. Because they have been appointed by the Lord, their duty is to consult the Lord and act accordingly. The book for the consultation is Bhagavad Gita, in which the Supreme Lord gives direction. Therefore, those who are engaged in creation, maintenance, and annihilation should consult the Supreme Person who has appointed them and should act accordingly. Then everyone will be satisfied and there will be no disturbances. The scenario is that King Chitraketu is extensively and exclusively lamenting, feeling it to be the end of the life for him, as his only son, who arrived after several years of unsuccessful married life from millions of women or wives, is dead. He doesn't know that this has been done by one of his own queens. But because the son is dead now, he is also lying by the side of the son as if he is dead. This is where Narada Muni, along with sage Angira, comes to the site and starts instructing with divine knowledge. These instructions begin with the beginning of the chapter and it goes on until verse number 8. So there are 7 instructions that are being passed on to him, convincing him that there is no need for lamentation. So we are passing through those series of instructions. The instruction today, if we go into the detail, is telling us that Lord Krishna is all powerful. He is responsible for the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this world. And so he is also responsible for the same thing that exists in and around this material manifestation. He employs various agents, and under his instruction, these agents work. It's very similar to running any nation. For an example, United States, the country cannot be present in various other countries around the world, and so it appoints the ambassador. And this ambassador works as the country and its president. But he is directly under the instruction of the President of the United States. All the decisions are being taken, all the controls are with the President of the United States. And as per their instructions, the ambassador follows the instructions. So though he can be said to be the President of the United States in absence of the President, he is still getting all his instruction from his boss, the President. So it's the appointee that is considered to be the agent of the person who appoints him. For example, a president of India employs and appoints someone. He always writes that it's with my pleasure that I appoint you. And naturally, when the pleasures are gone, displeasure disappoints you, means dismisses you. But it's always his instruction who appoints one that are to be followed. Srila Prabhupada complains that the present politicians do not understand this fact. They think that they are the one who have won the elections or won the things and have come to the power. And as Lord Acton's law says, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So the corruption goes to their head because they wrongly believe that they are the self-appointed geniuses and they are being gifted by the God a special power. There isn't anything like that. In fact, they should have understood that they are being appointed by the Lord Himself. And they should have always gone into the meditation asking for His instructions to follow into the country and take the country to a better heights and comforts to all the living entities there. Since this does not happen, the running of the country is as chaotic as any householder without the chief of the house. And you see the result almost everywhere in this world. You see so many conflicts going on. So many of the conflicts getting converted into wars. And so many wars which are virtually permanent wars going on between the two parties for more than several decades. This chaotic confusion is just simply a result of these basic causes. Srila Prabhupada says that the person who is being appointed, if he thinks that he is the doer, he is thinking wrongly. We, while learning Bhagavad Gita, we learn that how many doers are there when there is any action going on. And Lord Krishna Bhagavan told us that there is at least 5 doers for any action that goes on. First 3 as usual are Jiva, Ishvara and Prakriti. 4th is Kala. And 5th is Karya or Karma. So all these 5 words are responsible for any action that happens. However, avidya or ignorance in human being leads him to think that it's only he who does it. And so he is begging or rather snatching all the profits or all the fruits that it creates. That's where the conflicts begin. That's where it ends into the wars. If you remember rightly, Lord Brahma in the 2nd and 3rd canto prays to Lord Krishna that please see that the creation that I am involved in does not go into my head and I start thinking that I am the creator. And he adds the caveat saying that I know I am not the creator, I am only an object or a nimitta matra. And that must remain in mind all through. While explaining to his sons, especially Narada, he explains this fact very vividly and nicely, telling that all the power lies with the Lord. It is His consent, it is His glance, it is His wish that ultimately ends up into a creation. And so also the maintenance and destruction. All the things are happening because Lord wishes so. His wish becomes a command to all the agents who are involved in creation, maintenance, and annihilation. We know that Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv are involved in this process of material manifestation. Brahma creates everything, and all the creation of Brahma are known as Visarga. Visarga begins with all the living entities, material manifestations, and he actually is responsible for the Prakriti as well. Again, it's the wish of the Lord. An example comes in when the creation is happening. That Mahat Tattva, when it is ready, then Lord Mahavishnu adds Kala, adds the karma of the souls and the destiny of each and every living entity. These he does by his glance, and this glance then suddenly produces agitation in the Mahatattva, and it starts differentiating. That's when another factor, the three modes of material nature, comes in and exaggerates the agitation. This is how the creation happens. For a creation of even a small living entity, you know that it needs father. And so father becomes an agent. And similarly, maintenance is to be done by some authority, like government or like if it is kingdom, king. But this government and the kingdom, king of the kingdom, only acts as an agent. And they are not directly responsible for the creation or the maintenance. It's not their wish which has been coming true. It's the wish of the Lord. It's the appointment of the Lord and actions also of the Lord which gives benefit of doubt to the other people who are creating, working as agents. Mahesh or Shiv is similarly responsible for annihilation of this universe and at a regular time interval. When all these things are annihilated, the entire material manifestation with all the living entities, they go back to the Virat Swarup of Mahavishnu. It stays there until the creation occurs again. When the creation starts, that's when the process is repeated. And this is how creation, maintenance, and annihilation keeps occurring. It occurs at a regular interval. Brahma, when he becomes alive, that's when the creation starts. And when his day ends, the creation sleeps. When his life ends, that's when annihilation, major annihilation happens. In short, Srila Prabhupada is extensively explaining that the soul gets bewildered because there is no knowledge about the Lord and about its absolute supreme power. Since one doesn't have the knowledge, he keeps on applying various tark or mental speculation to adjust to the surrounding about what is happening. And these wrong mental manipulations or mental speculations lead to wrong conception, what we all call a bodily conception, that I am the body. Even the parents, when they create a body or a child, they only create a body. They do not create the soul. Soul simply gets transferred. And so, creation of the soul is entirely the process of the Lord Himself. In nutshell, this verse explains in great detail that we do not understand the presence of the Lord, we do not know His powers, and we do not understand who is actually appointing all agents to function for and on His behalf. If we are functioning on His behalf, we are being appointed by Him, and He is the one who actually wishes and does, then certainly we are most insignificant person taking all the advantages of goodness that is being created by Lord Himself. And that's why in Bhagavad Gita has explained that there are at least 5 doers. So you are not the doer really. If you are not the doer, then you are not supposed to take the fruits of that action. Even if you are a doer, you are not really uh, not really to get the fruits of the action, because the example given by Srila Prabhupada is that if the carpenter is making a chair, chair belongs to a person who brings the wood and not to the carpenter. Very simple example, but very solid example. Woods are available by Lord, by the nature. And so also many things around in the world are all created by the Lord Himself. We just mix them in different proportions and make our house, make our furniture, and live the life. That does not make us owner of any of these things, because we are still in that position of a carpenter. We haven't brought any substance ourselves. We have simply got it in exchange for something from market and produced the house. Srila Prabhupada extensively suggests this and makes us convinced that since we are not doing the work, we are not entitled to any fruits of the work. And that's why Lord Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that you keep on working, but remember that you are not responsible for the work that you do, And that's why you are not entitled for the fruits. All the seeds and reactions lie in getting the fruits, asking for the fruits, and then its disadvantages. Because that's when you tend to get more fruits or less fruits. There won't be anyone in this world who will accept small, lesser fruit than his desire. And so we all end up getting more fruits than what we are supposed to. This goes contrary to the Isavasya principle of the Lord. This Isavasya principle says that everyone gets their quota, and one who takes more than his quota is certainly stealing from Krishna. If you are stealing from another human being, it's a burglary. If you steal from the king, it's really a national offense. And imagine if you steal from Lord Krishna himself, who is the absolute truth and absolute honor of the entire material manifestation. Is the worst sin that you create. And so, we must follow the Isavasya principle and we must stick to our quota, whichever is assigned for us for our necessities. If everybody does that, the world has enough for everyone to go around and enough for everyone to remain happy and still live a nice life. We do not want to do that. We want to compete almost everywhere, and we want everyone else to look down upon. We somehow have a tendency to think and try to prove all the time that I am better than others. Many a times, if you quietly sit and think, you realize that by such thinking, what do we get? We get all wrong things. We get ahankar, and from that false ego, we get so many things which takes us to a wrong direction. And that's how all the troubles start. Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita does explain about Nishkam Karma. And that Nishkam Karma leads you to a neutral status. It's very important that by the action and reactions, the reaction may not become negative to keep us in a conditioned position. So Nishkam Karma is certainly one way of doing it, but it doesn't lead you very far. It takes a long time to go further. And that's how the Bhakti Marg, where you virtually do everything for Lord Krishna, for his gratification, for his satisfaction, and for his pleasure. And as Srila Prabhupada has taught us, anything and everything material that you use for the purpose of Lord Krishna or for the purpose of spirituality does not generate any reaction, and so you are absolutely safe. This is the only way to at least stop generating reactions so that you can start your japamala and other things and cut off your previous apradhas, offenses, and collected reactions. That's how we become what is known as Nivrutta of all the sins that exist in the world, all the offenses, all the aparadhas, and all the anarthas. When we purify ourselves of all these things, then and then we are entitled to go back to the Lord. Process is long but simple, straightforward, and it always works, and that's why Srila Prabhupada calls this process of Bhakti Marg or devotional service as a process which is like an elevator. Jnanis, yogis, and karmis, in spite of their nishkam karma, in spite of their extensive yoga, in spite of their being pandit and having extensive knowledge, can reach up to a Brahman level, which is the effulgence of the Lord, the Tej Puj or Brahman, or up to the Paramatma level, the Lord who is in the heart of every living entity, but can never reach up to Bhagwan stage. For that you require a bhakti marg, a devotional service to the Lord. Unless Bhakti Mishra Yoga, Bhakti Mishra Jnana, or Bhakti Mishra Karma are done, one never reaches to Bhagwan, Lord Krishna. And for that you need one way or the other the devotional service or Bhakti Marg. We are very fortunate that we have been directed by Srila Prabhupada to choose the right path. And he has assured us that we will certainly reach to the Lord and that he would be waiting for us to take us through. So this verse basically tells us that we are not the doers and nothing in the world is happening by us. But the creation, maintenance, and annihilation is done by Lord Himself through His agents. So, in short, from verse number 2 to the verse number 6 today, we got following instructions from Narada Muni and Angira. Verse number 2 told us that relationships in this world are not factual. Verse number 3 tells us that union and separation of the jivas are due to the forces of Kala. Verse number 4 tells us that it is the providence or the will of the Lord which is paramount. Verse number 5 tells us that the material relationship do not exist in all three phases of time. That means we are factual but temporary, not real and permanent. And as I say today, we learn that Lord, though unattached, creates, maintains, and destroys like child's play. The agents have no potency and they are not independent. They do under the instruction of the Lord. Any question, any doubts, any commentary, any addition? Please go ahead. If there are no further questions, no doubts, we have just reached the time. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripasindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anek koti Vaishnava ki jai. Thank you very much for attending the class. I wish you all have the wonderful Krishna Conscious Day. Mataji is in India and probably day after tomorrow she will come back and start some of the days. She is fine and enjoying her time in India. Hare Krishna to everyone else. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam.
Sarvat Pranam Mataji.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Sarvat Pranam.
Krishna Prabhuji.